Uh, okay. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
I'm Miss Bintang from Global Total. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming from the representative from Tailors, Miss Vivi, Pak Dendi, and then the team also. Terima kasih banyak sudah datang. Ini sembari nunggu murid-murid, apa kita mau putar video dulu, Pak? Apakah Tailors punya video atau mungkin Global Total yang mau putar video?
Oke, kita ada.
Oke,
Tailors Culinary Institute, entity we're here to launch and celebrate this evening. We look forward to positioning the Institute as an international leader in culinary arts and hospitality education, offering world-class experience to train the future leaders in this industry. I feel very confident that this is something that's going to be very, very exciting and is going to be very, very big enhancement for the brand and reputation of the Tailors Education Group going forward.
Kita tunggu 1 menit lagi ya.
Oke. Saya play satu lagi ya.
Oke, boleh Pak.
Hi, my name is Edric Lee. I intern in a restaurant in Italy, Modena, Italy, called Osteria Toscana, which currently holds 3 Michelin stars.
Hi, I'm Inani Nabila, and I intern at La Bergerie, which is a bib gourmand restaurant in France.
My name is Chef Gustanino Harjadi. I did my internship in France in 3 Michelin stars named Michel Brun.
Say like working in Osteria Francescana, it's very different from what I've experienced here.
I would do in France, it was more technical, more thought out, more prepared.
Shabra use a very fresh ingredients. For example, like every morning before the service time, we go to his house to pick up some herbs.
It was a real eye opener for me. There are actually quite a few challenges. For me, yes, I was definitely homesick. Very homesick.
Well, when I was abroad, the thing I missed the most was basically Raya.
Very hard for me also to go overseas, far from my friends, family. So
I was very homesick during that specific time because it was very hard for me specifically to find food there.
The communication barrier was a problem for us because most of them actually just speak Italian.
There wasn't a lot of people there, and the language there was not a lot of people understood English, so it was kind of hard to speak to people.
at the same time, also improve my friends. I try to like learn French with mobile apps, and then ask my friends that I met there to teach me how to speak French. Yeah, that's how I overcome those problems.
I guess I adapted and learned a lot of French there.
And from there on, we kind of picked up Italian words here and there. So yeah, I guess you could say like our Italian is just strictly in the kitchen.
From my internship, my experience in France, I learned how to work faster and more organization. And it's more like a life skill, yeah, something like communication skill, organizational skill, management skill. That's what I take actually from internship in France.
The thing that I learned most there is that it's to believe in yourself, since a lot of people tend to push us down and it is very hard on us. You should always believe in what you think is right and always believe in your ideas, how crazy it might be.
I wouldn't say it's 100% authentic, but in terms of teachings, philosophy, as well as principles we have there, it's definitely 100% straight from where we interned.
I think most of the guests will like, oh, this is how the Michelin star food tastes like. Oh, this is the famous garguyo. Oh, this is the famous crispy part of the lasagna tastes like. So I think the guests will enjoy the dinner.
Elegant, refined, and fun.
Amazing, delicious, impressive.
Amazing, delicate, and yummy.
It was beautiful, elegant, and delicious. It's delicious, it was classy, and it was absolutely mind-blowing.
It's been fun. All the dishes have been quite interesting. They've all been very different. Yeah, just enjoyed seeing what was going to come to the table next.
It's really unbelievable, and to know that to the extent that how the students have come to use their skill in the form of art in cooking. That is what I'm truly impressed of, and I'm just very proud of them, seriously.
I'm quite amazed by the way it is planned. I think it's not easy to do all the dishes. So I thought that the program itself is something which I felt is quite amazing, well thought through. And then you can see the joy of them working together, and then they simply came up with a very, very delicious food. So I'm very happy.
Just keep what you're doing. You know, you guys are doing an awesome job already. You know, I've eaten in a lot of places all over the world, and this is one of the best food I had in my life.
I wish them all the best, that they continue with this passion and make great meals for everybody.
Oke, mungkin kita bisa mulai acaranya ya Pak ya.
Silakan.
Ini ada yang apa-apa. Oke. Halo, selamat sore adik-adik semua. Selamat datang di acara Global Total Workshop with Taylor's University. Tema workshop kita kali ini adalah Cup of Joe, Begin Your Barista Journey. Perkenalkan, saya Miss Bintang, konselor dari Global Total. Bersama dengan saya sudah hadir Pak Dendi dan tim sebagai perwakilan dari Taylor's University. And also here Miss Jasmine and Miss Michelle as our speaker today. Sebelum kita mulai acara workshop ini, saya jelaskan sebentar mengenai Global Total. Oke, Global Total itu adalah education service kita yang akan membantu ataupun konsultan pendidikan untuk ke luar negeri. Kita sudah berdiri sejak tahun 97 dan moto kita adalah connecting you to the world class education. Kemana aja sih Global Total bisa bantu murid-murid untuk meneruskan kuliahnya? Kita ada ke banyak negara seperti Australia, Kanada, China, Jerman, Hong Kong, Malaysia, New Zealand, Singapura, Switzerland, UK, dan USA. Di samping dari kampus-kampus internasional, kita juga bisa membantu murid-murid untuk ke sekolah-sekolah internasional. Dan banyak juga tawaran dari jurusan-jurusan yang tersedia di luar negeri. Begitu juga dengan various living cost and tuition fee juga beraneka ragam sesuai dengan budget adik-adik. Apa sih yang Global Total bisa tawarkan untuk adik-adik? Yang pertama dan terutama itu adalah free consultation. Lalu dilanjutkan dengan application dan registration. Kita akan bantu untuk pengurusan aplikasi dan registrasi ke universitas yang adik-adik inginkan. Di samping itu juga ada accommodation and airport pick-up. Global Total juga akan bantu untuk mengurus akomodasi dan airport pick-up di negara tujuan. Visa processing juga Global Total akan bantu, jadi adik-adik tidak perlu khawatir. Begitu juga dengan pre-departure briefing, Global Total akan membantu membimbing adik-adik sebelum berangkat dan sebelum memulai perkuliahan, kita akan jelaskan apa yang harus dilakukan terlebih dahulu. IELTS test registration buat adik-adik yang masih belum mempunyai sertifikat IELTS, bisa menghubungi Global Total, kita akan bantu untuk pendaftarannya. English placement test, di beberapa kampus ada English placement test mereka sendiri dan Global Total juga bisa bantu untuk arrange pendaftarannya. Career test buat adik-adik yang masih bingung mau memilih jurusan apa, Global Total bisa bantu untuk career test dan menentukan jurusan yang tepat untuk adik-adik. Education Expo, workshop, dan seminar secara berkala juga Global Total melakukan ketiga hal ini, tapi karena masih pandemik, kita masih ada keterbatasan dan harus dilakukan secara virtual seperti ini. Lalu Summer Winter Camp dan Study Tour juga karena masih pandemik, jadi masih dipospon. Kami berharap segera bisa mulai tatap muka sehingga Summer and Winter Camp dan Study Tour juga bisa dimulai. Konselor tim kami dari Global Total itu ada 6, ada Miss Citi, Miss Hansan, Miss Duma, Miss Bintang, saya sendiri, dan Miss Citra, dan Mr. Jovan. Global Total itu ada di Medan, kita ada di Jalan Malaka, Simpang Jalan Jambi, dan buat adik-adik yang mau datang, boleh make appointment dulu di nomor telepon ini, dan atau di WhatsApp, bisa di chat di WhatsApp, di nomor 08175300401. Seperti itu. Nah, nanti ada sesi Q&A dan ada sesi kuis berhadiah. Jadi adik-adik bisa stay tune sampai akhir. Seperti itu. Kita boleh lanjut. Saya pass the floor to Miss Vivian or Pak Dendi untuk melanjutkan workshop kita hari ini. Terima kasih.
Oke, terima kasih Bintang. Selamat sore semuanya. Semoga sehat selalu ya. Mungkin saya akan kasih brief dulu tentang Taylor's secara umum, baru nanti kita akan mulai workshopnya. Ini Taylor's University, kita ada di Kuala Lumpur, di kota Sunway, di Subang Jaya, Malaysia. Nah, kalau kalian pengen tahu tentang update tentang Taylor's, ada di line kita @taylorsuni.id, ada di Instagram kita @taylorsuni, dan juga di Facebook kita, taylorsuniversity.my. Nah, ini kampus kita.
Welcome to Taylor's University.
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 Kamu lihat ini perpustakaan kita, ada 4 tingkat, semua bukunya sudah lengkap. Dan ini adalah semua fasilitas-fasilitas untuk setiap jurusan yang ada di Taylor's. Mulai tadi dengan robotik dan IT, kemudian ke engineering, ini untuk fotografi design studio, yang bisa dipakai juga untuk communication. Ini ada Mac Lab Studio untuk arsitektur, kemudian ini untuk interior design, ini untuk mass communication,
Today we're live streaming with a chef from France.
advertising. Nah ini untuk culinary arts kita, ya kita untuk culinary arts, hospitality dan juga tourism. Ranking ke-17 di dunia sekarang, dan kita bekerja sama dengan University di Toulouse dari Prancis ya. Ini semua fasilitas-fasilitasnya. Ini jurusan bisnis kita. Ini sampel dari kelas law di Malaysia. Kita punya modern library dengan lebih dari 20.000 international journal. Ini salah satu sampel kelasnya. Ini akomodasi, tempat tinggal buat kalian, tinggal jalan kaki ya kalian ke kampus. Ini untuk biosciences. Ini untuk jurusan kedokteran kita. Nah, ini jurusan culinology, ilmu yang pelajari tentang food science, food technology, dan culinary arts. Di dunia ini ada 17 universitas yang melakukan culinology, 16-nya di Amerika dan 1 di Asia hanya di Taylor's. Kalian di Taylor's hanya kuliah Senin sampai Jumat, Sabtu Minggu libur. Nah ini kita ada 44 klub mahasiswa yang boleh kalian ikuti sebagai ekstrakurikuler. Nah ini rektor kita, Profesor Dr. Michael Biscoe. Beliau ini terkenal dengan holistic education. Ketika kalian nanti lulus kuliah wisuda, kalian sudah bisa bekerja. Dan diharapkan bukan hanya bekerja aja ya, ketika 1-2 tahun kalian bekerja, kalian pun menjadi seorang entrepreneur, punya perusahaan sendiri, menjadi seorang entrepreneur sejati. Nah ini yang dipingin oleh Taylor. Kalau kalian pengen lihat bagaimana lifestyle di Taylor, saya show seperti ini kira-kira. Ini sebelum pandemi kemarin ya. Nah, ini you resident, tempat tinggal kalian nanti di sana. Di bawahnya sudah ada shop lot juga. Sudah lengkap. Ini bersekolah. Kalau kota Sunway, kalian tinggal 20 menit jalan kaki juga bisa ya. Ini fasilitas-fasilitas kelas kita. Kalau untuk engineering kita ada 3D printing juga, kalian tinggal ngedesain di komputer dan barangnya langsung di print jadi seperti ini ya. Ini Rewind, salah satu fasilitas di Taylor's di mana kalian setiap kelasnya sudah ada recording videonya, jadi kalian kalau misalnya ketinggalan kelas, kalian tinggal play semua video-videonya di portal kalian. Untuk appointment sama lecture kamu gampang. Lecture menyediakan waktu buat kalian dan ini adalah halaman kantin buat kalian ya, makan siang, makan sore di sini, semuanya lengkap. Kan kita ada Family Mart sama 7-Eleven tuh 24 jam non-stop ya. Nah, ini Student Central, tempat kumpul kalian. Ini Shine Award, kalau kalian memang ada kesulitan untuk belajar, kalian bisa tanya kakak kelas yang kita menjadi tutorial kalian. Nah ini perpustakaan kita untuk study room-nya 24 jam non-stop. Ini untuk olahraga, kita ada indoor, ada juga outdoor. Nah, ini sekilas tentang Taylor's, kemudian kampus fasilitasnya.
Oh hey,
kalau pengen lihat.
What's like studying Taylor's? Great question.
Nah, lecture theater seperti ini yang tadi ada recording videonya kita punya 22 buah dan mungkin kita paling bangga dengan kelas yang ini, salah satunya ini yang legend karena dulu Barack Obama ketika menjadi Presiden Amerika pernah hold conference di kelas ini. Nah, ini fasilitas untuk lab sciences kita.
courses ranging from biomedical science, plant tissue culture, food science, and so much more. Designed to simulate hot and wide
fasilitas untuk mood court untuk jurusan hukum di Taylors.
to prepare them for life after graduation. Not forgetting our world-class culinary courses coupled with all
Nah, ini culinary suite kita ya. Di culinary suite kita ini sudah lengkap beserta dengan buat pastry-nya juga. Ini trading room yang ada di Taylors. Kita salah satu terbanyak untuk private university di Malaysia yang punya terminal Bloomberg.
Students are immersed in an actual trading environment using the same real-time data.
Jadi kalian ketika selesai akan dapat sertifikat dari Bloomberg.
Our design and architecture studio provides a place for students to design, produce, and refine their artistic creations into tangible forms of presentation and critique. How am I looking? Looking great! Special purpose lab.
Ini untuk jurusan IT. Untuk IT ini kita bekerja sama dengan beberapa multinational company seperti Huawei dan juga Microsoft, dan mereka punya special lab-nya di kampus ya. Itu kalian selesai akan dapat sertifikat tambahan.
Introducing carpentry, mechanical engineering, 3D printing.
Ini semua workshop labs yang kita pakai buat kalian ketika belajar di Taylor sesuai dengan jurusannya. Nah, ini jurusan yang terbaru kita di bidang performing arts.
Why is it so dark in here? So that's it, folks.
Jadi kalian sedikit tentang fasilitas-fasilitas yang ada di Taylor.
Culinary art, computer science, we look forward to seeing you here.
Nah, Taylors ini dapat anugerah dalam 2 tahun berturut-turut. Sekarang kita ranking ke 332 di dunia, menempatkan Taylors nomor 1 nggak hanya di Malaysia, tapi juga di Asia Tenggara. Dan satu lagi adalah tentang graduate employment rate. Kita untuk graduate level top 1% di dunia. Nah, ini salah satunya ketika kamu lulus kuliah bisa langsung bekerja ya. Nah, ini kalau lihat graduate employment rate yang sudah dibawa pada tahun 2018, kita rata-ratanya di Malaysia itu sendiri 96,4%. Jadi cukup tinggi ya. Nah, kemudian kalau kamu kuliah di Taylors, kita juga ada dual award dengan beberapa university, mulai dari Prancis, Inggris, New Zealand, dan Australia. Nah, untuk hospitality, culinary, dan juga tourism, kita bekerja sama dengan University de Toulouse dari Prancis ya. Nah, ini program-program kita selain hospitality kita banyak ya, rangingnya mulai dari bisnis, hospitality, culinary, health sciences, media communication, dan sebagainya. Okay.
Want to shape your life? Start with your environment.
Nah, ini mungkin untuk Taylors Pierce, ini lingkungan yang kita ciptakan di Taylors buat kalian. Sesuai dengan visi misi kita, kali ini kalian menjadi seorang entrepreneur sejati.
Armed with key intelligences, fueled by a supportive community, it's your turn to shape your environment, your world, the future. Taylors Pierce, graduate in demand.
Ya, jadi kita udah lengkap buat kalian. Kalian menjadi seorang entrepreneur itu dididik mulai dari ketika kalian kuliah di Taylors, ya. Nah, ini without further ado, mari kita ikuti workshop pada hari ini, A Cup of Joe, Begin Your Barista Journey dengan Miss Jasmine dan juga Miss Michelle. Oke. Miss Jasmine, Miss Michelle, the floor is yours.
So, very good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, so my name is Michelle, and I'm the food and beverage lecturer in Taylors University, and I'm also the program director. So, if you come to Diploma in Hotel Management, I'm taking care of the Diploma in Hotel Management program, right? Together with me is another F&B lecturer, Ms. B. Jasmine. So, B. Jasmine is also F&B lecturer in Taylors University. Okay, so thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. So today we're going to show you a little bit on the barista skill. And currently now the location I have is actually in Taylors University, Malaysia. And I'm currently at Block D.
Hello?
Ground floor.
在呀，不呀。
Alright, ground floor. Okay, this is called the Mixology and Innovation Lab. So today I'm going to showcase to you what are the things that you're going to learn. Alright, and as a barista, actually, how actually you can enhance your skill. Right, because the time is very short, alright, we're going to start something actually very basic for you, and hopefully you can join us, and we can actually promote many things to you. Okay, so basically today the workshop content is we're going to start with the introductions of coffee, and the different type of coffee beans is actually very important. And we bring you a little bit to the farm, alright, a little bit of photo to show you during my visit in one of the areas called Johor, Simpang Mengan, right? How is the farm actually look like? And we show you the little bit of the coffee equipment, and of course, the very important is the barista skill. And today I demo to you specifically two areas, right? So in front where you can see there is a different types of actually coffee, perhaps the cup is already laid out. I will do the first demo, right? And later on I will hand over to Miss Jasmine. And then later on we'll come back to use the coffee machine for the second area. Okay? Okay, so let us begin with maybe the first demo first. Right? Okay, so students, ladies and gentlemen, please pay a little attention to my demo. Okay, over here, please see. Right, we're going to start with the first one. Right? Okay, so the first one, right? Okay, so the first method is we call the drip method. Okay, so this is very famous in Vietnam. We're going to begin with Vietnamese drip method. Right? Okay, so this is how you can put, right, the device. Okay, so we first have this being setting up, right, followed by we're going to place the coffee powder inside. Okay, so for this cup, I will prepare 2 spoons, right, of coffee powder. And I will put the second part of drip inside here, and it will follow up with actually hot water. Okay, so for those of you if you've been to Vietnam, this is very famous actually in Vietnam, right? And they will add on additional condensed milk. Okay, so you probably have to wait about few minutes, okay, to maximum of 5 minutes to allow the coffee actually to drip into the cup. Okay, so that's, well, the coffee will come later. So this is drip method. Okay, and I would like to move on to the second method. The second method is the French press. So I get my hot water ready. So it's the same thing, that I will put 2 spoons of the coffee powder inside. Add some hot water. So this is French press methods. Very convenient, very easy to use actually at home. Okay, so I put the top cover and I will slowly press. Okay, so depending on how you would like the intensity of the coffee and how you would like the coffee to be ready, to brew, to be ready. Okay, so this is the second method. And the next method I would like to which is from the machine. So the machine that I will do vanilla espresso. Okay, so that is the third coffee readiness. Okay, so this is number 1, method number 1, Number 2 is the French press methods. Right. And number 3 is from the machine. All right. I would like you to make a guess. Which one is the best espresso? Which method is the best espresso as a barista? You need to master the skill. Okay, I hand over to Miss Jasmine.
All right, so good evening, everyone. Ms. Michelle has just showed us 3 methods. The first one on the right-hand side, while we are looking in, is the Vietnamese drip method. The one in the middle would be the French press method. And the third one on the left-hand side would be the Italian espresso machine method. So the question, all right, is if you are, a barista or you are a coffee gourmet drinker, which method do you think is the most advanced or difficult to master the method? Okay, which one would be harder to achieve that you really need to, learn the skills of achieving the standards, the quality standards that we want to produce a good cup of coffee. So if you can put it into the chat box, what do you think? Is it the number 1, Vietnamese, number 2, French, or number 3, Italian? Go ahead and put it into the group. All right, thank you, Angelo. Angelo says number 1. Number 1 meaning the Vietnamese drip method. Okay, Kanata as well. Vinny, Dylan, everyone's saying 1. Evelyn as well. Thank you so much, everyone. So we have quite a few feedback so far. Michelle, they're saying number 1 is the hard method, the more complicated method to get, all right, the quality standards.
All right, so I will let you know the correct answer later. Okay, so Jasmine, maybe we can begin with a little bit of introductions to the coffee. Oh yeah, finally I see someone actually putting number 3. Okay, there are more answers coming in. So don't be shy, students. All right, just let us know your answer. Okay, number 3 coming.
Okay, yeah, so Wilson and Gavin entered 3. And if you are still, all right, deciding, go ahead and put in your answer while I share my screen and take you through today's session. So we were going to go through, all right, what is the best, left, middle, right? But I think it's easier with the French, Italian, or Vietnamese. So we're going to show you right now or explain to you right now, all right, the whole origin of coffee, why it's such a big thing right now in the trending in the F&B world. It is really a big part of our business. So under the hospitality school, under, hotel, restaurants groups, okay, all this travel industry, I'm sure you realize that the lifestyle of going to a nice cafe, having a good cup of joe is very important. Okay, hence why we are sharing this session with you. So why is it called a cup of joe? Anybody? So the story is here. It was because in US, all right, they used to drink alcohol, but when they put a ban on it, the only thing allowed, all right, which is strongest to keep them awake, all right, alert, strong drink was, all right, coffee. So this was imposed by a Navy secretary. His name is Joe Daniels. So it was, okay, because of him, this implementation of a new rule that created a new saying of cup of joe. Okay, so you're going to have a cup of joe instead of a cup of, drink. But where did it all first started? So when we say we go for coffee drinking, we don't really think about, first of all, asking for an Ethiopian coffee, right? But it all started in Ethiopia, this African country. So how was it discovered, first of all? If you've heard of the story of how coffee beans were discovered, coffee was discovered, it was because this shepherd boy, Kaldi, all right, he noticed his goats, the herds of his goats were really, excited. They were dancing, prancing, very active, full of energy. And so when he investigated, he discovered that the goats have been eating a type of red berries from the tree and hence behaving that way. And then later on, he shared it with monks, all right, and then shared it with the people because the monk was able to stay awake and pray the whole night. So it was something that really helped people to, be super energetic and alert and keep them awake. So that was how it was first introduced or brought into the world of humans consuming coffee. But there's those two stories that move on from there. Okay, one was the monk accepted it, okay, but the other was the monk who did not accept it threw the beans into a fire. So from there, it created roasted coffee, okay, coffee roasted that smells wonderful. I'm sure you realize when you walk into a cafe, walk past a coffee shop, you smell coffee and instantly it wakes you up. It puts a smile on your face if you're a coffee lover, isn't it? So there's this story about how it was, first discovered and how it got into mainstream humans consumption. Okay, so from Ethiopia, it moved on as people started traveling, all right, trading on goods, so it moved into Yemen and then eventually in the 1700s moved around the world quite a bit. Okay, so if you notice where it moved to, it was, this is South America, Central America. It was, all right, the European countries and also here in Asia. So hence today you find that we get coffee in, all right, all these countries, the ones that are highlighted in red color. Okay, the coffee is being planted there and it is, being exported to the world. All right, exported to the world for the whole world to consume. So maybe you can try out another activity here. So it's coffee, all right, a tropical or temperate plant. Okay, if you put that into your chat box, okay, to tell us, okay, what do you think? Is it a tropical plant or a temperate plant? Just by looking at this. Excellent. All right, so yes, it is typical tropical plant. So you find them, okay, being planted here in the near the equator, right? It needs to have that weather. So it is from tropical to subtropical climate. It needs, all right, a certain altitude of about 2,000 feet above sea levels, or can even go higher up. And, with that, it comes with a greater quality of the beans or the varieties as well. Okay, so good job. We've got tropical. Thank you so much for responding. Let's try one more. What do you know about coffee as a plant? Is it considered a tree or is it considered a bush? What do you think? Okay, so to you, it's a bush. I know I was very surprised myself. So looks like Gavin kind of know his coffee pretty well. Thank you so much. So I was surprised as well. It does look like a bush, but it's actually considered a small tree. Surprise, surprise for all of us. Okay, so it's known as a shrub or a small tree. And it is the berries and the seeds, okay, the pit inside, okay, that is the coffee beans, all right, that produces coffee for us. So it's inside this berry, you get the, all right, seed or pulp. So if you are not too sure what the pulp is, it's this outer layer. Okay, and inside you find the seed here, or known as pit. Okay, and it's the seed here, the pit here, that creates the coffee. Okay, so here's an example of or the photo of Miss Michelle's visit to the coffee farm that she mentioned just now in her hometown in Simbang Rengam, Johor. So these are the coffee berries, or also known as coffee cherries. Okay, it comes in generally this color. That means it's sort of ripened already when it's reddish, purplish. Okay, when it's yellowish, greenish, meaning it's not ripened yet. Yeah. Okay, so this is in the photo showing it in process, showing it in process. Okay, so in essence, yes, this is a tropical fruit that is, okay, very labor intensive, because if you notice the photo here, on the same stalk, the berries ripen at different timing. So when it ripens at different timing, you will have to pick them out. So hand pick with humans obviously costs a lot more money. It's not machine, right? And it grows on a tree. It is the seed of the fruit. And there are many types of species, like flowers, like teas, like grapes that makes your wine. There are so many different varieties out there. Okay, so some fun facts for us. Okay, is coffee part of our life? Is it something that's common? I think so, right? So 54% of adults drink coffee daily. Okay, we need that cup of joe to get us going for the day. 33% of it, all right, comes from Brazil alone. So the highest producing country. 65% of the people have it during morning hours. It's really that instant caffeine kick that we require to get our day going. And all right, on an average of 24%, okay, of people will drink 13 cups each week. That's more than 2 cups. In fact, they say some of the really good consistent drinkers, they do about 3 cups a day. Okay, so I don't know whether you belong to this category. Do you fall into this category as a coffee drinker that takes 3 cups a day? Anybody? But I think what's more importantly, if you notice, it's a huge business. It's a huge part of our life. So first thing I'd like to ask you, what do you think? All right, is it the number 1, number 2, or number 3 most traded product in the world? Coffee beans. Do you think it's number 1, number 2, or number 3? Just type in your answer. Okay, we've gotten someone. All right, excellent. So all of you, almost all of you got it right. It is number 2. What do you think is number 1 then? What's the, all right, most important commodity, the number 1 commodity in the world? Exactly, oil. And coffee is next to that. Okay, quite incredible, isn't it? What about, what is it as the most consumed beverage in the world? Is it number 1, number 2, number 3? Not water. We don't consider water, okay? Let's consider, all right, beverage. So you think it's number 1. Wow. Really? Think again, think again. Think carefully. Okay, so it is number 2. It is number 2 again. What is it after? So the commodity one, oil was number 1. So what do you think is number 1 for most consumed beverage in the world? Exactly, tea. Okay, tea is more consumed, but it's not internationally traded as much. Okay, so as a business, it is more important, all right, for people, all right, economically when it comes to coffee. The last question I have here is the most expensive coffee. What do you know about the most expensive coffee? You see 2 animals here, a bit weird. Do you think it comes from this animal or this animal? Coffee is a plant. How does it come from animals? I'm surprised. Yes. So which part of the animal gives you coffee? Great. Everyone's telling me elephant. And that is really the answer. I was hoping that, you know, you're big Indonesian, so famous for your civet cats, kopi luwak, you would tell me the cat. But I'm very happy to see that you are so well informed. Yes, okay, it's from the poop, right, of the animal. It's coming out in their poop, okay, of the elephant. So the ivory black. So just a quick look at, okay, how much it costs. It's just crazy, mind-blowing. So your kopi luwak from the civet cat goes up to about $600 per pound, whereas for the elephants, all right, black ivory coffee, it goes up to $1,500, all right, dollars per pound. That's just crazy, right? Crazy amount. Anyone tried it before? Very lucky if you had. Okay, so it's very, very rare to find, very few. So hence why with exclusivity, all right, the premium product, it costs a lot. Okay, so what are the different types of coffee beans that we can find out there? Too many types, okay? We don't use all of them. So out of, 100 over species of the coffee plant, there are 2 only mainly that are used commercially. So they're planted commercially, exported overseas where they are further processed, okay, roasted at a different, degree, and then again, further exported to countries that are looking for it. Yeah. So the 2 most commercially grown coffee beans are the Arabica, all right, species and the Robusta species. Okay, of course, you find others that are very exclusive, very well known, okay, premium ones like the Geishas and the SL28. Those of you who are baristas, you probably can name a lot more than I can. So there's a whole chart here with what's more well-known, how it's linked and all of that, but we won't go into that detail, of course, okay? So, oops, too fast. Anyone can identify which of these are the coffee beans, all right, name. So remember just now we say the two most commonly known one is Arabica and Robusta, which are commercially grown. Okay, sorry, Robusta is here. But we have one more called the Liberica. Yeah, Liberica is what is grown also in Malaysia, our Ipoh white coffee and all of that, right? So with Liberica, it has a slightly different look. So what do you think, or which one? So I was going to do an activity of drawing lines here. Not too sure whether you will have the same function on your Zoom, but since we are out of time and lacking on time, I'll just give you the answer. Okay, so this is the Liberica bean that looks a little bit more different from the rest. Okay, it's an oval shape with a sharper tip. Okay, so this is actually two beans, okay, or two seeds. Okay, overall as a bean. Okay, it's two seeds actually. And here in the middle, we find the Robusta bean. And then on the right is the Arabica bean. So Arabica is the most well-known, okay, and highly utilized ones in specialty coffees, and especially for the Italian coffees that you mentioned would be, all right, some of you mentioned it would be the one that is the best quality and hardest to master. Okay. So a quick look at the process. When you actually get them from the farm, you have to harvest, okay, the cherries or the berries. And then from there, you have to do sortings and a range of different processes. So we'll go through very briefly on the process. In fact, there are three main processes, from dry to wet to honey, okay, something that's in between a dry and a wet method. Okay, and then a quick look at what the roasting profile. When you roast the coffee, it changes the profile of your coffee, the taste, all right, the outcome of it. And then after that, I will hand it back to Miss Michelle to take you through, all right, the making of the coffee. So this is the farm, okay, in Simpang Regam, Johor, okay, coffee plants, okay, that looks more like a bush in a way, but it's considered a shrub or a small tree. So on this, all right, tree grows the berries, okay, or cherries, both of it is being used. So we tend to refer back to the Specialty Coffee Association's notes. They use the word berries more, but you'll find them both interchangeably used out there, okay? So the ripened ones are the ones that are used. So you need to find ripened color from anywhere, you know, light red, darker red to purplish even. Okay, so you harvest those berries, so either by hand pick, but if not, you could use a machine. A machine will then not be able to do selective picking. Hence, the quality of the beans may come out very different, right? So quality premium ones would utilize selective pick by hand, and that would be time consuming, labor intensive, and hence expensive, costly to produce. And that's why you pay, you know, in Malaysia, 10 ringgit, 15 ringgit for a cup of specialty coffee. Okay, so Liberica coffee plant looks like this. Okay, it's fruits. So you notice it's also longer, not as round and small. Okay, in fact, in the same farm, you can even find, you know, 3 different shapes on the berries, just because it comes from different trees. Okay, so you can be from the same place, but you know, it may come out very differently. So it's very important that after you have harvested, you need to go through some sorting. So the sorting happens by, you know, either by sizes, first of all, but also in terms of other quality concerns, whether it was attacked by animals, you know, bugs and insects and all of that. So they look for this kind of things and sort through. This is an example of the machine that helps with sorting by size. Okay. So the dry process sorts it. The wet process here, okay, it will be submerged into water, Okay, and because with water, you know, the weight of your bean, if it's light, then it would be floating. If it's heavy, it would sink to the bottom of the tank. So from there, they can tell whether the quality is better or not as well. So this is just the bean. They would have already removed the pulp. Okay, and then from there, look all right at how it is floating. Okay, and then it sorts by quality that way. Okay, so wash method, it's also known as wash method. Okay, then after that, it would need to be dried. Okay, the coffee beans needs to be fully dried. On a dry method, okay, it straight away from sorting goes into this process of drying. So what are they drying? They have to dry out all the liquid or the water content from the pulp itself, from the fruit itself. Okay, so they lay it out and then they have to rake through it. So this is a rake. Okay, they use a human to go through and flip the coffee beans around so that you know you get a very even drying for all the berries. Okay, so you need to cover them and ensure that it doesn't get wet, all right, during the nighttime or during rain. So after drying, it would need to be rested. This is the resting period. Okay, so they are rested for up to about 2 weeks, right? So depending on types of beans. And after that, okay, it can be then, all right, hulled. Okay, hulling is removing of the outer layer of the coffee bean. So sometimes there's still some remaining, okay, fruit pulps on the top or some form of mucus that is on the top. So you've got to remove that. Okay, so after you remove, it's all right, from parchment coffee, when it still has that hull, you remove it through hulling, and then it becomes now officially just a bean, and it's called green beans. Okay, so it's green beans after all that process at the farm. And then from there, it would then be sent off to roasters. It will be sold to roasters where the roasters will take it on, okay, to be roasted. At this point, okay, you can polish as well. It's an optional stage, okay, it's optional step. You don't have to do it, but it's good to do it, all right, if you want to get a cleaner taste. Okay, so here's an example of the polishing machine. Okay, so yeah, one more round of sorting if you want to go through to make sure that you then be able to sell at different prices, okay, making sure that sizes, quality, and all of that is checking, okay, and then you package it for sale.
Ma'am?
So, yes, hi.
Can I ask a little bit?
Yes,
so for the quality of the coffee, so is that right that more bigger coffee is more stronger, bitter of taste and stronger? Yes, yes. When farming and choosing the coffee quality, so the coffee when is more bitter and sour, and for the bigger one is more stronger coffee taste, or how?
Number one, I think
coffee
it's the variety. Okay, so remember just now we have Arabica, Robusta, Liberica, and many other, right? So the variety itself with it has some characteristic. Okay, and the shape, the size of the beans are also a bit different. But when you talk about whether after that the beans, if let's say it's from the same bean type, if it's all Robustas, you know, but you've got some big and some small, okay, I don't think it changes much, but Miss Michelle, maybe you'd like to add here. Does it change the profile if let's say they're all Robustas and some are bigger and some are smaller? Does it change the profile of the taste?
Okay, the method of preparation will change the taste of the coffee. So it depends on major, we have a look, right, on the different types of espresso. So let's say it's over extracted, all right, and under extracted, it will give you a different flavor. Okay, in the short while, I'll give you the correct answer.
Okay, so it's more on how you prepare it later. So the roasting, okay, or just now when we talk about the dry method, wet method, and honey method, that also changes, all right, because there's also fermentation involved when you're drying it. So there's all these variables that will change the quality of the bean. but originally the bean, okay, if it's a Robusta, even different trees, you know, it's the same farm, but it's different trees, it may not 100% be the same. So hence why, you know, when you have a lot of beans, you put them together, you grind them together, it tends to come out more consistent. It's like planting any other fruits or vegetables, you know, you don't guarantee that it all comes out exactly the same, or whether the size of the fruits, you know, if it's bigger or smaller, changes much in terms of just because it's bigger, it's supposed to be sweeter or less sweet, you know, not necessarily.
Okay. I think it will be a little bit effect or something like that.
A little bit effect. There may be a little bit, but it's not that much. If the beans, if you notice the sizes, it's not a huge difference, right?
Yes, because sometimes I hear that people always say that if the coffee is smaller, many people that don't want a coffee with a very bitter or sour, so they choose more bigger one because the coffee effect or the aromatic of the coffee is so more stronger from the smaller one that I heard is like that.
Oh, okay. All right. So it's a good point. All right. We'll probably look into it and see how much more information there are in this area. Okay. But I think mostly it has to do with, okay, the bean type, the varietal, okay, its process that it goes through, the roasting level, and of course, its extraction, the brewing method. Okay. Thanks so much. Who I was speaking with just now? Sorry, I didn't check your name.
Me.
Sorry, it's not popping out for me. Sorry again, what's your name?
Chris Anderson. Chris Anderson.
Chris Anderson. Yes. Okay, now I see it. All right, very good. Thank you so much, Chris. I just want to make sure that I address you by your name.
Thank you.
Most welcome, most welcome. Then we have here the roasting. So it comes in different, all right, level of roasting. Okay, most commonly you can go with either 3, if not there can be more levels, the in-betweens, like a medium dark, okay, a medium dark or even a medium light. So you can see that it gets darker and darker. To get a better idea, this is all right, one of the looks of it from one of the cafes. For them, they do 3 roast levels, okay, for their beans and their light roast. They tell you how much time is being roasted and what would be the profile of it, from the color, okay, to the acidity level. That's how sour it is. And in terms of its aroma, do you get more of a fruity scent when it's lighter roast, or a darker, all right, more smoky scent, okay, more bitterish, all right, more caramelized roast or scent from a dark roast. Okay, so it all varies depending on the level of roasting as well. Okay, so I'm going to hand this back to Ms. Michelle, who will now take us through the coffee equipment and then the barista skills and then the making of the coffee. Okay?
Thank you very much, Michelle. Right. Do you have any question before we continue? Any more question? Okay. All right. So no problem. Don't be shy to ask question. Right. Okay. So let me continue with the different types of coffee equipment. Right. So if you can see the next slide, just the next slide. That here are the different type of equipment. Sorry, the first one is an AeroPress. The first photo is an AeroPress. Followed by the second one is a drip coffee method, very famous actually in Vietnam. And the third one, very simple, which is you have seen just now, is a French press method. And I think many in Europe country actually at home, they don't have a machine, they will use this French press method. Right, and the last one is actually the eye bricks. Okay, where they put the eye brick actually on top of the stove, right? And the water will reduce and will become a very concentrated coffee. Okay, so these 4 types of coffee equipment will give you a brewing method called infusion method. Okay, infusion method. For example, the photo or the demo that I just did at the beginning of this workshop, which is the first one. Okay, the Weberman's drips. This is called infusion method. The French press coffee is the infusion method. Okay, And infusion methods is because of the slightly longer extraction times, right? You will tend to get more coffee, caffeine content inside the coffee. So just like in Malaysia, for those of you living in Malaysia, is very famous for our coffee, which is perhaps kopitiam, right? The traditional coffee, we put the coffee powder inside the bag and we soak it a long time. So the longer that it infused, the better actually the flavor. Okay, so that is actually Malaysian method. Okay, so with that, you are able to extract a lot of flavor, but at the same time, it also extracts quite a lot of caffeine if you are using infusion method. Okay. So to become a barista, we suggest you to go for the next one, the next method, which is using the coffee machine. Okay, next slide is actually the extractions method. Okay, extractions methods where we have to use the pump espresso machine, which is later on I'm going to show you how to use this semi-auto coffee machine. Okay, so to answer to the workshop just now, right at the beginning, okay, for you to become a barista, in order for you to do an espresso, you have to do the third one, the third coffee that just now I prepared from the machine. Okay, for those of you, if you pay attention, just now, the third coffee that I prepared, on top of that there is a layer of crema, C-R-E-M-A. Okay, so the crema is extremely beautiful and also delicious in coffee and also in espresso. So what is this layer of crema? This layer of crema is actually sugar. The sugar content inside the coffee and also oil, right? And the sugar patterned into a caramel. Okay, so creamer is contains of sugar from the coffee berry and also oil, and it's actually delicious, right? To taste. Okay, okay. So for you to become a barista, you have to use the semi-auto coffee machine, and basically you have to understand a little bit on the fundamental of 5 criteria. Okay, on to the next slide, then you will be able to see, right? These are the 5 criteria for you to do a good espresso or good coffee. So we start with 7 grams of coffee powder, 90 degrees of water temperature, right? Followed by 9 bar pressure. Okay, where is the bar pressure come from? The bar pressure comes from the coffee machine. Okay, so minimum is 9 bar, right? You can go up to 11, 13 bar pressure is also not a problem. For example, I have a very small espresso machine at home, right? It's extremely powerful, very small, but it's 11 bar pressure. So this bar pressure is able to turn the sugar into a caramel, and you're able to get some beautiful crema, so that you're able to do the latte art and right? And the next one, the next criteria is extraction time is between 20 to 25 seconds, meaning that when the coffee starts brewing, it must be complete between 20 to 25 seconds. If let's say it's too long, it's over extract, it will give you the different result. It is under extracts, it also give you the different flavor. Okay, which is I explain to you in a while later. And the producing of the espresso is about 25 ml. Okay, 25 ml actually for a single shot of espresso. So this is the fundamental, okay, or we call it the standard recipe. You as a barista, you have to familiar with first. Okay, and once you're familiar and how to brew an espresso, then later on you can continue actually, or you learn the other things, for example, cafe latte, cappuccino, and other things. Okay? Okay, so just you can help me to move on to the next slide. Okay, now I would like the students or the ladies and gentlemen right now to make a guess. Right? Based on the photo, there are 6 photos. Which one is the perfect espresso? Which one is the perfect espresso? Okay, the numbers is actually missing. Okay, I'm not sure where is the numbers. Just me. You can indicate the numbers. Yeah, it's supposed to be have the numbers there. Number one, yeah, the number one. Number one, number two, okay. Yeah, number three. Okay, and then number four, right? And followed by number five and number six. All right. So now, so can I have you to make your guess? Which one is the perfect espresso? And you can type inside the chat.
1.
Okay. Okay, any more?
Number 6.
Right. Okay, so the Bishai, just make a guess. Which one do you think that is the perfect espresso? All right, okay, thank you very much. Okay, so just click on the next slide and I can give the students the answer. Okay, yes. Actually, who answered? Vinny actually answered number 6. Number 6 is actually the perfect espresso. Okay, so what happened to the rest? Number 1 and number 3, right? If you can see the surface, there is a little bit of bubble on top. Okay, and you can see that the color is actually a bit uneven. Okay, so that is considered under extraction. So in the extraction method, you see the semi-auto coffee machine. Under extraction, it will give the flavor of sour. The coffee will tend to have slightly longer sour taste because the sugar has not have enough extraction into the coffee. So the taste will be sour. Number 2, number 4, number 5, all right, is considered over extraction. The timing is actually way too long. That's why you can see that the color is a bit more darker. Okay, so what happened to those coffee? The coffee will taste actually bitter. Okay, so I hope that answer to the one of the students who asked me just now, whether that the coffee bean affect the taste, yes, not only the coffee bean affect the taste, but at the same time with the different brewing method, with the skill of the barista, it will give the different flavor. So ideally, number 6, with a little bit of, you can see on the surface is a tiger skin, all right? That is actually the perfect espresso. All right. So next is, you would like to become a barista. The skill of the barista actually is not only just focus on the learning how the coffee machine, just on the coffee knowledge. You also need to have a little bit of soft skill. Okay, so it begins with you must know all the different types of coffee bean, the different type of coffee brewing method. You must learn how to at least handle the semi-auto coffee machine. You must understand the different method, brewing, the extraction. Of course, you need to learn about latte art. Not only just this, you need to learn about specialty coffee drinks. Use coffee to become the base of the drink, right? You're able to create the different types of coffee drink to be sold in the restaurants. And coffee pairing with food is something that is coming up. Okay, and it go well with many things. Okay, and of course, other than is other beverages. Okay, so let's say you become a barista, then you enter into your restaurants. You need to learn how to communicate with your customer. You need to learn about customer satisfaction. You must pay attention to detail, multitasking, and you must have a bit of responsibility. You need to take care of the cleanliness, many things. So those are the skills that you would like to become as a barista. Okay? Okay, so let's move on to get to know more about the equipment. Okay, I think we can stop sharing for the PowerPoint. point. All right, and I hope that everyone actually able to see. Right, I have this toolbar here. I will actually here to assist me to move around. Oh, okay, so I'm going to start with introduce you the different types of equipment we require. So for example, this is a knock box for us to actually put our coffee powder inside. And normally barista will use two types of milk jug, one big one and one of the small one. So this is actually small one more convenient for the latte arts. Okay, and followed by this is the coffee grinder. Okay, so all the coffee beans press it, put it inside. Okay, and then you can just turn it on. Okay, where you can see that the coffee powder are blue inside. Right, so today we're going to use Digayo, and this is 100% Arabica. 100% Arabica beans. Arabica beans have about 1.5% of caffeine content compared to Robusta. Robusta have about 4.5. So Arabica is also considered one of the expensive coffee bean, not like so expensive like the Roa or the elephants. Okay, but compared to Robusta and the other coffee bean, right, it's a little bit more expensive because of the caffeine content. So today we use Digayo from Indonesia. Okay, and it's 100% Arabica. All right, next one we have here is the temper. So there are two types. Right, one is a stainless steel temper. Okay, and one is actually made from the plastics one. Normally, barista like to use the stainless steel temper. Okay, and this is our beautiful coffee machine here. Right, and I hope that all you have opportunity to handle this machine. And normally I tell the students, don't be afraid of the machine. Great opportunity to use. I'm sure later on you're going to ask me, like, you would like to become a barista, what kind of machine that you can get? You don't need to have this one, this big machine at home. You can have a small espresso machine that is already good enough. Okay, and so later I'll show you how to use the portafilter. Right, and this is a steamer. Okay, I'm going to turn it on for you to have a look. So it's actually powerful and wonderful to do milk. All right, and you can use this actually to make a microfoam later. Okay, so of course you need to have the coffee cups. So this is slightly small. For those of you who become a barista, we prefer you to start with the 8 cup. Okay, and of course we do have many beautiful espresso cup actually in Davis University with our logo. Okay, and this is another espresso cup as well. Okay, so different type of cup for you to familiar with, and you will have to use the different sizes, all right, and so that you're able to practice your latte art. And of course, we have saucer, teaspoon, right? And for those, let's say, you think that film pouring or latte art is very difficult, you may want to start with the chocolate sauce. Okay, so chocolate sauce is slightly easy to begin. You can use two types of chocolate sauce. Chocolate sauce and also caramel sauce. And of course, it requires you to use the etching pen so that you can put the lid on up, drawing. Okay. Okay. So for those who begin your journey with a barista, you will need a thermometer. So the purpose of the thermometer is to make sure that you check the milk temperature is actually perfect temperature. Okay, so for those of you who let's say you're already familiar with the milk temperature, you know the skill of floating the milk, thermometer is actually no longer required, but it's quite suitable for those who actually at the beginning stage. All right, okay, now let's start to do the coffee. Okay, so we will first attach the portafilter. So we have two types of portafilter here. For example, this is a single dispenser. So with a slightly smaller buckets. Okay, so that is for one coffee. And this is double portafilter with two dispensers, when of course with slightly bigger buckets. Okay, so to start with, right, we can start to flash the water. Right, the water is actually to clean the previous coffee powder. Okay, and we can begin with, okay, of course, we throw away the previous. Right, so this is called a nut box. It's for you to know, right? And followed by taking a fresh coffee powder. Okay. Right. It's okay to have a little bit extra, no problem. So we can place the portafilter on the side here. Okay, and we can flatten it. Okay, and now we're going to use the temper, right, and to compact the coffee powder. Okay, and this tamping process is extremely important. Minimum, we have to apply 20 kg, 20 kilogram pressure into this. Okay, so how do you perform this 20 kg? You require the skill for the barista. So I will probably have to use more than half of my body weight to ensure that it's 20 kg. All right, so we compact the coffee powder, okay, and turn, right, a little turns before we finish it. There's additional coffee powder on the side. It's okay, we can put it back. Okay, so sometimes you can see barista, they use their hand to remove it. That is okay, there's no problem. And we can stop the water now. We can attach the coffee portafilter on the machine and we can tighten it up. And now we are ready to brew the first espresso. So have the coffee cups ready, right? And now we can press the button. Okay, so this timing is important. We have to have between 20 to 25 seconds. Right, between 20 to 25 seconds. So normally in the competition, right, the judge will make the count of the timings. Okay, so today, yeah, machines, right? Maybe resting too long, there's no students around. Okay, so first you can see on top of this is the layer of crema. Okay. This layer of crema is extremely important and also delicious in espresso. Okay, so
that is type 1, right?
Come again?
That is the same photo like number 1, right? The espresso, the extraction is same like photo number 1 or number 3.
This one. Okay, this one I think is number 1. I will say it's number 1.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, so no, this is not number 6, maybe. Yeah, this is not number 6. Yes. Okay, because number 6, right, actually require a little bit of tighter skins and all. So what happens is, for those who become the barista, every morning you have to come to familiar with your coffee machine. And you have to adjust the grind size. The coffee powder size, you have to adjust because the machine is not stable at time, right? You have to maybe mix 6 cups of coffee, right? To adjust the best so that you're able to achieve the best flavor of the coffee. Probably just now we show you, which is the number 6. Okay, so what you see here, right? You can see the layer of crema is acceptable. Yeah, acceptable. However, in my opinion, that longer and darker. All right. Okay, so this is the espresso. Okay, and now I'm going to move on to the next one. I can quickly just show you how much time I have. Probably have 10 minutes, right? I can just quickly show you actually how to mix the latte. Okay, and so let's brew a latte and say that we're going to start with espresso. Right, so happy. Okay, so please. So we get ready for 2 cups. Okay, and the next one we have is the milk. Right. Okay, so that this is a steamer, and we're going to steam the milk to become microfoam. Okay, so does anyone know what is the perfect milk temperature for a microfoam or for a latte?
50.
50, okay, good. Any more answer? $70, okay, $70, 65. Wow, well done. 65. Okay, thank you. Okay, so the perfect milk temperature for latte, or we call microfoam, is between 60 to 65. Okay, so for those who maybe is a beginner to learn about milk floating, you will have to use the thermometer. Okay, to make sure that you measure to the correct temperature. So the milk floating is also another technique as a barista is require you to brew it to the perfect temperature and also without any bubble. All right. Okay, so you normally begin on the surface. So while I'm floating my milk, I can start to brew my espresso so that you'll be ready at the same time. Right? So this is a okay. So we're going to make sure that we pump enough air into the milk so that we are able to create the microfoam. All right, so that is, I have practiced enough. I know that this is about 60 to 65. So cleanliness is actually important. So we're going to immediately clean up the steamer so that the milk stains will not be there. Okay. And now, so this is a big milk picture. We can transfer to the small one. Okay, so sometimes you will hear some knocking. Alright, whenever the barista prepare the coffee, that is okay because they are trying to remove the bubble inside the microphone. Okay, so if you're a student in my class, I will normally let you try that what happened to the oversteaming milk, for example, above 70, 80 and more. So the oversteaming milk that you will get something that is actually flat, there's no body, okay, there's no coffee. Okay, but if you have a perfect steaming between 60 to 65, you can see there's a very beautiful shining milk on tops. Okay, and there's no bubble, it's very beautiful, it's very nice actually for latte. Okay, so you have a single espresso and there's a milk, that's where we can pour inside into the cups. Right, okay, so of course this is free pouring. It requires a little bit of skill for you to mix the latte. Okay, so the skill also required to practice. Okay, so I can see, right? Okay, so the latte is ready. Okay, so I can do the second latte. Okay, so you see that layer of crema. Okay, so this layer of crema can help to give a very beautiful arcs actually on tops. Okay, so I really hope that you are here, especially to those organized actually for this event. Example, Dandy and the others, Global Total Education, right? I really hope that you are here and I can treat you a very nice coffee. And please do not hesitate next time to come to Malaysia to contact me. And I'd love to do a very nice coffee actually for you. Okay. So the student who answered the correct answer just now, mention about the free one. If you are in previous university, please come and see me and I'll do a special coffee and something to enjoy. So that's all we have. Thank you very much. I hope that you enjoy this workshop.
Miss, can I ask last question?
Yes.
If about talk to making a cold coffee, can we use the bottle in the not in barista, in bartender, that the bottle shaker? Can we use it to make
the bar shaker?
Yes, to make a coffee, can we use it in
Yes,
barista?
you can use the bar shaker. However, depending on what type of coffee that you are preparing. So let's say you are preparing latte, you cannot use espresso, then you can. But you are making a specialty coffee, let's say with your creativity of a coffee-based beverage, either the cocktail or the mocktail, yes, you can use the shaker to mix your coffee. Okay.
What always ingredients for the coffee for that? For the milk, is the milk been using 65 degrees and then pour it in bottle shaker, or no need to pour it at 65 degrees.
Okay, so depending on what are you making a cold drink or making a hot drink? Okay, because coffee can serve hot, it can also serve cold, right? That depends on the outcome of the drink that you want to achieve. Okay, so let's say you're making the cold drink that you have ice cube or not, and all, then your milk no need to be 60 to 65. So let's say you're making a hot drink, all right, and depending on what kind of hot beverages, okay, hot coffee that you want to prepare, then maybe you are required actually to mix the milk slightly warm. Okay, I hope that answered to.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, any more questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
This is a little bit off topic, but does barista needs to work quick?
Yes, good question. We were just talking about it. We just want to share. We were talking about it yesterday.
I think, yesterday we were looking at some video, people vlogging as a barista working in Melbourne, where, your coffee scene is actually very advanced. And I think efficiency is the word to use, how they can multitask, and still be able to deliver, because you have very lean manpower. Australia is very expensive, right? Hiring. I see Vivian nodding her head. So Vivian, I think she worked as a barista before.
No, I work in cafe, but work with barista. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you see them work, right? Very, very efficient. Fast is a word that, you can use it, but I think it's accurate. It's very important to be accurate in everything you do. So from customer service, getting the order right, making sure that all the detailing in the coffee is done correctly. So efficiency, yeah.
For the coffee, the most very, how to say, is very difficult to do, and it takes many times. Is that very affecting, and how to decrease it and making more faster and more good how to say good at timing and with good quality of our coffee?
Okay, I think that's a very good question. So one of the barista skill when you learn along the journey, right, is you have to learn about sensory analysis. So sensory analysis is because coffee is a very complex fruits, and it's a complex beverages. There's so many actually ingredients inside. In fact, until today, right, there's no non-stop of research can be discovered actually from coffee. Okay, so part of the learning journey is you have to include of how to analyze a good coffee. Okay, so along the journey, when you drink, you taste, so how is the body, how is the aroma, how is the smell, or when you say smell, we say nose, okay, and what are the intensity of the caffeine inside. along the journey, you will have to analyze and you will have to learn. Okay, so with the different method of preparation, you were able to analyze the flavor. So which coffee bean, right, using which method can extract the best flavor. Okay, so that the journey maybe is begin now. Okay, slowly actually you can explore more about the different types of method with the flavor. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Any more questions? Okay, there's no more questions. I think maybe I hand it over back to Dandy. Dandy and teams.
Yes, thank you so much, Miss Michelle and Miss Jasmine for the workshop presentations. Okay, before that, buat teman-teman semua mungkin boleh open cam ya. Nanti kita mau foto ya buat sesi. Mungkin boleh open cam semuanya.
Ya, buat teman-teman bisa open cam dulu. Oke. Kita mau foto dulu ya. Sudah semua ya, open cam. Miss Duma, saya minta tolong ya, Miss ya, diambilin fotonya. Oke, 1, 2, 3, cheers. Oke, thank you. Oke, Miss Vivian, fotonya udah. So, what next? Kita bakalan lanjut ke sesi yang berikutnya. Atau adik-adik ada yang masih mau ditanyakan tentang workshop hari ini? Kayaknya cukup menarik ya. Tadi Miss Jasmine udah jelasin mulai dari sejarahnya kopi, ditemukan oleh siapa, dipakai untuk apa, lalu diproduksinya bagaimana, bagaimana bentuk pohonnya, bagaimana bentuk biji-biji kopinya sebelum diproduksi dan diproses menjadi serbuk dan kita bisa konsumsi. Ada banyak macam kopi. Mungkin adik-adik sudah lebih tahu karena kopi adalah bagian dari aktivitas ataupun budaya kita sekarang. Gitu. Kalau misalnya ada pertanyaan lagi, masih boleh untuk ditanyakan. Kita ada waktu untuk tanya-jawab sekitar 2 menit sebelum kita lanjut ke sesi berikutnya. Oke, sembari kita nunggu teman-teman ataupun adik-adik sekalian yang mau bertanya, Miss Bintang ini ada feedback form dari Global Total. Mungkin Miss Citra bisa bantu untuk share di chat box, dan Miss Bintang mau coba share tampilannya di screen. Oke. Ini tampilannya, jadi adik-adik bisa isi nanti namanya, email, nomor WhatsApp, dari sekolah mana, menurut kalian kegiatan ini menyenangkan atau tidak, and then, would you like to join our future event, kalau misalnya ada aktivitas seperti ini, bakalan ikut nggak? Kenapa? And then, what is your suggestion? Apa sih saran kalian untuk acara yang seperti ini? Do you prefer the event be held online or offline? And then, bisa kasih alasannya apa? Bisa kasih feedback juga buat Global Total, buat Tylers, buat acara ini juga. Seperti itu, and then klik kirim atau submit. Oke, ini linknya udah ada di chat box ya. Sebelum kita masuk ke acara quiz, I would say thank you for Miss Jasmine and Miss Michelle. Thank you very much, Miss, for your time, for your knowledge. I hope we can meet again in future time. And I hope we can meet face to face with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's our pleasure.
Thank you, Miss Jasmine. Thank you, Miss Michelle.
Our pleasure, Dandy. Pleasure, Bintang.
Oke, Miss Vivian mungkin kita bisa, dan Pak Dandi mungkin kita bisa lanjut ke sesi kuisnya.
Oke, silakan.
Oke, jadi kita ada 5 pertanyaan ya, Miss, untuk murid-murid.
Iya, 5 pertanyaan dan nanti 1 dari Global Total, jadi 6 pertanyaan.
Oke, nah ini adalah kuis pertanyaan berhadiah ya.
Iya, benar. Nanti kita akan berikan souvenir dari Taylor's University dan 1 dari Global Total. Itu, Miss.
Oke, pertanyaan pertama nih, yang paling gampang aja nih.